There it is. There it is.
Okay, let's start this. Finally.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You can't stop this.
To do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
So they just get to get away with this?
So here we finally are. So I'm joined by Francesco,
Hey guys.
C from Wonderneer. Yeah. Hello.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Uh, I'm not the only one with a delay. And there's also Mo. Hey.
Hello, everybody.
So yeah, we're presenting the winners of the 18 categories that you voted on, and we're also taking a look at Somewhere in the South, an upcoming horror game, coming hopefully this month or early next year to us. Right?
Yes, hopefully this month, if not January of next year. But I'm really pushing hard to get this by the end of this month.
And we actually have a little gameplay clip. You brought gifts with you. Let's check that out. You want to talk over it, or do you want to have a look at it first and then we talk about it later?
Yeah, we have to look at it first. Just a real quick gameplay clip, and I'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay, I fired it off. I fire it off. Sorry. Yeah, there we have it. There it is again. So, what can you tell us about Somewhere in the South? What is the game about, basically?
Okay, so Somewhere in the South is a survival horror that takes place on the Underground Railroad. You have to guide 3 slaves to a safe house after their conductor or the person that guides them to that slave house, or excuse me, that safe house, dies. So they have to navigate the Underground Railroad by themselves. What you saw in that clip, a lot of those were the traumatic flashbacks from experiences they had as slaves. So that's one thing you're going to experience a lot when you're trying to make your way to that safe house in the north. Yeah, it's a survival horror. There's no zombies. There's no aliens or no robots or anything. It's just trying to get to the north while slave hunters and all these traumatic experiences are just obstacles to your way to freedom.
What inspired you to do that game, to make that game?
Oh, I've had this idea since early 2000s, 2003. I've always thought about how just horrific that experience was of trying to, escape slavery and just navigate to a free state or navigate your way to freedom. And I just thought how horrific that experience was. And no, that's not a knock on all these other survival horror games, but it's no, there's no zombies or anything. It's just slave hunters and just traumatic experiences, horrifying you.
Yeah, you mentioned other horror games. I think mostly it's the supernatural that we see in horror games. So this take on a horror game is kind of different. I've not seen a horror game touch that topic. Are there any influences? Are there any influences by other horror games that you had for this game?
Yeah, I had some influence Resident Evil comes to mind. I know that's has a lot of zombies and whatnot in it, but Resident Evil. One escapes me right now. It took place in a mansion for the Super Nintendo, I forgot what it was called, but that was an inspiration as well. That's probably going to come back to me during this event.
I'll research this as we talk.
Oh, sure. Okay.
It's very much rooted in history. Did you consult any historians, or how did you research that time period?
Yeah, I definitely I talked to a few historians about some things in the game. Did tons of research online and offline. Now, did through some old documents, some old slave diaries. I guess maybe early 1900s. Some slaves that actually did interviews with some people, and I tried to base some of the language off of that. But yeah, no, I try to do as much, try to make it as accurate as possible. But unfortunately, it's not going to be accurate because a lot of things about the Underground Railroad are secret, and a lot of those secrets are never going to be revealed. So I just did the best I could with research, and hopefully I did a respectable take on that horrific situation.
And are you working on the game all by yourself, or do you consult any artists for it or programmers?
Yeah, actually, I'm working on the whole game myself, and I do all the programming, the art, everything. Yeah, it's been a big undertaking since 2003. I hope to include a lot of the betas that I made and a lot of the full versions I made since then, because the game has changed dramatically to what you see now. I'm trying to include all those in the final product. It's just I just don't want it to I don't want the size to be huge, just 500 megabyte file.
Will it also be on PC or just iOS and Android at first?
iOS first. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Android first. iOS is going to be later. And now, if there's a demand for a PC version, I'll definitely probably do that. It's just it's a little tricky. It's built for
Touch
mobile.
controls. Yeah.
Yeah, touch.
So Switch might work. But I think
Yeah,
you need
no,
to
that might work,
localize it
yes.
probably in different languages to have it on the eShop. Is
Yeah,
there
that's a good idea.
is there a
Never
localization
thought of that.
planned?
Yeah, I've considered that. It's just I think that some of the language in the game is going to be it's going to be tricky to translate. So it'd have to be a lot of it have to be rewritten.
Yeah, to get the intent
This players
over.
speak a certain way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's quite tricky to, for example, translate it into German, but really get the intent of the language then to the to the player.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah. So,
Was the game you referred?
so
Sorry, was the game you referred to earlier a Sweet Home for Super Nintendo?
oh, was it Sweet Home? No, I don't think that was it. It was man, it's escaping me right now. Sweet Home.
I posted a link.
Oh, I see it. Mysteries in the. I don't think that was it. No, it was
There's also Dr.
like they were
Chaos.
lost and they found a matching.
Yeah, that's all I could find.
Oh, okay. It's gonna come back to me during the during the show. It's gonna come back.
All right. Yeah, I think we will talk more about it later on. For now, maybe let's get to the awards because we have 18, and yeah, that's quite a lot. So let's start with the first, if you don't mind. That's best story in a game. Maybe you can also guess who has won. Let me pull up the nominees. What would be your guess who won? The nominees were. It takes a second because my PC is really busy with the stream. Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Spiritfarer, or The Last of Us Part 2. Who do you think won in that category for best story in a game? The question is to all of you.
My vote is Ghost of Tsushima.
I think it's gonna win Last of Us Part 2.
I'm gonna go with Ghost.
Since I'm the only one who knows the actual winners, one of you is right, actually. So let's see. There it is, The Last of Us Part 2, best story in a game. I actually still have to finish it. Have you guys played it?
I still didn't, to be honest. Eventually, probably will. But I figured they will win. I heard only good things about it. On the way it narrates things. I know it may be controversial to some, but in the end, it's still narrated very well. So.
All right, let's go to the next category because, like I said, we have a lot. The next one is most immersive game world. Let's see who the nominees are and the winner. Yeah, CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. Actually so immersive that I can't stop playing it right now. Have you guys played it?
Not yet. I'm waiting for a proper console version because my PC can't really handle it. So I'm waiting for the next gen patch. But Yeah, I figured it will win. CD Projekt really knows how to make immersive game worlds, as they demonstrated with the Witcher saga earlier. So I'm not surprised it won.
Sorry, you were a little bit quiet there because I put down the audio because the videos are pretty loud. And as we had in the previous years, we have the cake diagrams. Everyone loves cake diagrams. So here you can see how each nominee panned out in the end. So it was pretty close between Cyberpunk 2077 and The Last of Us Part 2 for the most immersive game world.
Huh. I didn't expect Last of Us Part 2 to get that many votes, but yeah, it was really close.
Yeah, since it's not open world, it surprised me as well.
Yeah.
But let's see what the next nominees are in the category Most Creative Game Idea. And earlier I said in the pre-talk that I thought I would be better at this, but yeah, we have it prepared, but not everything is 100% working out as planned. So please forget that. So let's see what's the most creative game idea this year, and oftentimes there is not one winner, but maybe multiple. Let's see. Yeah, Dreams and Mario Kart Home Life Circuit, 2 games I haven't actually played because you really need a lot of space for Mario Kart Live.
It is very creative, so again, I'm not surprised. I also didn't play it, but I watched some guys with way more space than I do play it. And yeah, it's very creative, very creative idea by Nintendo, especially for kids. I can imagine they will have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah. And how about our guests? Have you played Dreams maybe? I think it's a PS4 exclusive, so that narrows the audience a little bit down, sadly.
For me, it was one of those games that I wanted to get my PS4 back out of the closet and play it. So it's definitely a game I want to try in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I want to try it in the future. I always thought about using Dreams to make like a 3D animated show or like some type of claymation type film or something. So,
Oh, that sounds cool. I want to see that. Let's hope that comes after Somewhere in the South, because I want to play that also.
okay.
So let's see who had the best visual design in a game this year. And there are a lot of surprising nominees that we picked out. So no The Last of Us, no Cyberpunk finally in a category, like with most creative game idea. Sakuna of Rise and Ruin. Also, we have here the tasty cake diagrams, of course. It was a pretty close race between Sakuna and Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer, the only game of the Cloudpunk also that I finished, and they were visually very pleasing. And especially Cloudpunk in the vein of Cyberpunk, I think a lot of players enjoyed that one. And have you played any of these?
The only game I played of this one, I think it was it was Spiritfarer basically. So again, I also wanted to try Sakuna, which really tempted me. And after this win, I definitely have to check it out whenever I can. But yeah, of these 5, really all is pretty fair, because also Astro, I don't have a PS5 yet, so I can't really try it.
I'm in the same boat as him. The only one I've played is Spiritfarer. So
Spiritfarer is great. But I mean, I saw some screenshots of Sakuna and I saw reviews and stuff, and it definitely deserves also this win. It also looks pretty good. So
Yeah, can't wait to play that as well. We just need more time to play, actually. More than the 24 hours. Okay, but we also have a Game of the Year category, and I made some little clips to spotlight those games. So let's have a look at the first nominee of the Game of the Year award right now.
Your attention, please. The Nook Inc. Getaway Package charter flight will soon be arriving at the deserted island.
Yeah, thanks to Squareasaw, Martin Ruland, who provided us with that song. And speaking of music, music has a really big role in games, I think. And yeah, we have a category that is called Best Soundtrack. Let's see who won that this year. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory by Square Enix. Didn't expect that to happen, but yeah, it's a game fully or solely about music, so it kind of makes sense.
And Kingdom Hearts has a lot of great music too, so
yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 3, the soundtrack was phenomenal, I think.
Yeah, the World Series has fantastic songs, to be honest. So it's a bit surprising to actually see it win. I agree with that, but I mean, it also has great songs. So
yeah, well deserved then. So it's a mobile game, right? Or for the Switch?
No, it came out on console too. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure it came out on mobile. Actually, I think it's a console game.
Yeah, with mobile, I meant you can take the Switch on the go. So maybe it's a game you can also. It's portable.
For the Switch, then, yeah.
Yeah, genau. Yeah. So yeah, you can turn it on every time you go to into the subway and have a song. Maybe it's also a good game on the go, and that brings us to the next category, best game on the go, that you almost messed up by saying I'm not right. But here is the next category, best game on the go. Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, I kind of expected that. And yeah, with 65% of the votes, it's pretty clear cut.
Yeah, it also makes sense. Sorry, I was literally eating as you were speaking. but yeah, I also expected Animal Crossing to win this because it already proven itself to be a phenomenon and a great portable game, especially with its predecessor New Leaf on 3DS. So it makes sense that the Switch version is also amazingly good at being a great game on the go. And since this chapter is so good and it helped us during a really tough time, which it showed its full potential. Makes sense.
Very true.
In this category.
Yeah, I think that category in this year is maybe a little bit misplaced. But yeah, a lot of people enjoyed that at home, and with the social distancing, it also, yeah, had an unexpected result for Nintendo, I think, in the success it had.
I know I'm not coming up with the term I was saying, but ironically, that pandemic helped Nintendo make shine Animal Crossing because it sparked a lot of interest.
Yeah, thankfully we had that game this year, and we have plenty more. And let's see what the next category is. So here we are for the best multiplayer game of 2020. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Yeah, I enjoyed that one myself quite a lot. It kind of fits in the vein of Animal Crossing with the look, I think.
Yeah, you mean the cartoonish style?
The cartoonish style, exactly.
Yeah, I can kind of see the resemblance. Too bad it didn't actually come out on Switch. That's a shame. But yeah, I also had a lot of fun playing it. So again, well deserved.
Especially initially when there weren't that many pro gamers on.
Exactly. Where we were all noobs. It was more random.
Less random is the next category because we have 5 awesome games nominated for Best Game as a Service. This time it is not Rocket League like in the previous 2 years because it's not nominated. Otherwise it probably would be. But let's see who is best game or what is best game of as a service. Yeah, Hello Games, No Man's Sky. Who would have thought that when the game was released? That it would be one time best game as a service?
They really did, what can I say, a revival of the game, especially with its rough start. I'm really proud of how they worked on it. Well deserved.
I hope this is going to be the same thing we're looking at with Cyberpunk 2077 in, say, a year.
Exactly. I hope so too. With the consoles, at least, because the PC version is good. But I hope with the console they will be able to do the same thing as No Man's Sky did.
Right.
Yeah, the opposite from Fallout 76, but it also could make the turn. Then we have the next category. It is Best Action Adventure. And before we take a look at that, let's see who is also nominated for Best Game of the Year. That game that was just referenced by Mo.
Last night I dreamt of you. It's been a while since we spoke. And in the dream we stayed up all night till daylight. Everybody needs some time alone to feel right. It's alright. You know I'm only down the phone if you need me to feel fine. We keep falling in and out of love, in and out of love. Yeah, we just keep on falling in and out of love, in and out of love. Yeah, we just. If I could turn back time and disappear out the window, 'cause I'm done with it all. The late nights and the fighting. Now I'm looking out on the runway in LA. I don't remember you, but you know we're not through. We keep falling in and out of love, in and out of love. Yeah, we just keep on falling in and out of love, in and out of love. Yeah, we just.
Yeah, thanks to Timecop 1983 for providing us with the music and also for sharing it on Facebook. If you're in the chat, you wanted to drop by, maybe say hi if you want. And let's see for the next nominees and categories, which is Best Action Adventure. What would be your pick, guys, for Best Action Adventure? Nominated are Deadly Premonition 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Can you repeat them again, please? Sorry, I was a bit distracted.
You're very focused on this. First eating, then distract. Deadly Premonition 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, as for an action adventure experience, I would actually go with Ghost of Tsushima personally.
I got to vote for that one again too. It just had more things to do. It wasn't as story focused, so it goes more with the action adventure idea.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I meant, because it's more adventurous.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
same thing. Ghosts.
Well, you're in for a surprise. Let's see. Yeah, you were totally right. It's Ghost of Tsushima, Best Action Adventure of 2020.
Oh, I thought with the surprise you thought we were all wrong. But I mean, we already explained why. So again, we're very well deserved. I'm happy.
Okay, next one is Best FPS for the next genre award. Nominated are Black Mesa, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, and Valorant. Or Valorant. Who do you think won?
I'm hoping Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, I'm also going for Half-Life Alyx.
I hate to say it, but I think Valorant might get this one.
Let's find out. It's Doom Eternal. Yeah, very unexpected.
Yeah, didn't see that coming, but again, great game. So,
speaking of Doom Eternal, it's also nominated for the award of Game of the Year. Let's take a look at Doom Eternal, and you can have more of your food.
Where am I going now? Just falling over dreams. Now I'm just so far gone, this isn't what it seems. Taking me so damn long, it's fading from belief. I need to slow this down, it's burning from beneath. Come break this line, the thorns in my eyes. Holding on for what is worth my life. I'm all your time, I'll make it up the vine. Find my way to giants in the sky. Tonight it comes to life.
The next category is Best RPG. Nominated are 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Demon's Souls, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Who do you think won that category?
I'm actually not sure of this one myself. These are our great nominees. I think I'm gonna stand by on this one.
I think Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Maybe I'm a little bit with Final Fantasy, but again, it's very bit, so I'm not sure.
I'm thinking Demon's Souls. I know it's more recent, but I don't know. I have a feeling for Demon's Souls.
Well, it was very, very close. Only 5% divided the two best RPGs. Let's see who won. Final Fantasy VII Remake with 45% of votes and 40% to Demon's Souls. Haven't actually played any of them, but yeah, they seem to be pretty popular this year.
Yeah, that's a very large win scale there. So
Yeah. Sadly,
people liked it.
sadly, not many people liked Yakuza Like a Dragon as much, which would be my best RPG.
People played it. To be
Yeah, they should consider.
They definitely should. Yeah, if you're hearing this, play it.
Is
I
that the
didn't play it
newest
either,
one?
but I heard only good things about it. And I love that.
Yeah, that's the latest one. That's a proper RPG this time because it has turn-based fights, so to speak, with some real-time elements.
I think the reason was probably most people, when they saw the Yakuza, they assumed it was like the previous titles and didn't realize they changed the formula.
Yeah, exactly. And they thought they need to play 7 games before that, but actually it's a reboot, so to speak. So, yeah, maybe people will get around. Like with Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1 and 2, which are pretty popular on the Game Pass. Sadly, Like a Dragon isn't on the Game Pass yet.
Yet.
It's definitely one I want to play after I had seen some videos on it. Up until I saw the videos, I was like most people, I assumed it was one thing when it was something else.
I think the reasoning is actually correct, because if you don't actually look up what it is, you probably assume it's like every other game in the series, when it's very different from what I saw.
Yeah, very different. New protagonist, new setting. It's also translated this time into Italian, German, Spanish, and French. At least the text.
Which is something we should praise, actually, because they took a huge risk, in my opinion, monetarily speaking.
Yeah, they did. They did that before with Judgment, but now it's a mainline title. They completely translated, and also it has an English dub, and it doesn't sound bad actually compared to Yakuza 1's dub on the PS2 back then, with Mark Hamill.
When I pick my choices, I'm not picking based on what I think is a better game. I'm picking on what I think the majority of people would pick. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Just simply go with what I actually vote.
I might have spoiled some awards there, but yeah, let's see anyway. For the next category, that is Best Adventure.
Yeah, I guess that one got spoiled.
Let's see it anyway. As expected, Animal Crossing New Horizons, with a lot of votes.
Definitely salty.
Here's a cake. Yeah. All right.
I agree with that one. That was a very accessible game for a lot of people, and it came out at just the right time.
Yep.
And pretty much a system seller for the Nintendo Switch. I think only recently the bundle was released in time for Christmas.
It was bundled at launch, but
Okay, I'm wrong again.
I guess they just reprinted them.
Ah, yeah.
If what you say it's true.
Who knows what I'm saying by now. Okay, let's see which is the best sports and racing game. Is that something you like to play, sports and racing games, or not your genre?
Sometimes. I'm not that huge of a fan, but sometimes they're cool.
I'm really into motorsports, so.
So you'll be delighted to have Art of Rally and Dirt 5 and F1 2020 nominated. 3 games are racing games.
Okay.
And there's also FIFA 21, as every year, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which impressed many people.
Voting Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I think Tony Hawk. A lot of people were excited for that.
Yeah, Tony Hawk. It's gonna be Tony Hawk.
Let's see if you're pulling another Best Action Adventure. Yeah, 60% of the votes went to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Why did we even nominate other games there? Of course, they were great as well. I quite enjoyed Art of Rally. It's very aesthetically pleasing, very tough, like the old Colin McRae rally games. And F1 2020 is the best Formula One game to date. Hopefully, that series won't change now with EA at the helm of it. We'll see. Of Codemasters, of course. And yeah, surprisingly, a few people voted for FIFA 21. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, I was just going to ask, does EA do any realistic racing games?
Not that I'm aware of, no. But they did the F1 games in the early 2000s. I think the last one was F1 23.
Okay.
They were pretty good, so let's hope they continue that form. Okay, on to the next category, which is Best Jump and Run or Platformer. With Astro's Playroom, Crash Bandicoot 4, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Sackboy, and Spelunky 2. Which will win? What do you think?
This is also tough. I really liked Spelunky 2 this year, so maybe I'll vote for that one. Although I doubt it will actually win, but
Okay, let's find out. Ori and the Will of the Wisps by Moon Studios. Congratulations. Another game I still have to play a lot more than I did, but very enjoyable from the start that I played. Yeah, any preferences you had in that category, Mo and C? Or are you not into platformers these days?
I'm not really big into them, but I played the first Will o' the Wisp, not the second. This is the newer one, right?
Yeah, that's the new one. You're thinking about Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yes, that's the only one I've played of that one, so that's why I remain silent on that.
Well, it's very similar actually. Equally difficult just after an hour or so, so still have to get my platforming skills, improved on that game. So let's see what is the next category. That is a best strategy and simulation game. We changed from best strategy game this year to best strategy and simulation game purely because of Microsoft Flight Simulator, let's be honest. So that is one nominee. Then we also have Gears Tactics, Factorio, Crusader Kings 3, and Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. Who do you think won that category, guys?
Age of Empires.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's so many great games in that, so maybe. Nah, I don't know. I just keep this one out. I don't have enough information to say who will win.
Okay, let's see.
Flight Simulator is going to get it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Flight Simulator is in that category. Flight Simulator is in that category.
Yeah, sorry for cutting you off there, Mo. And yes, it is Microsoft Flight Simulator with 70% of the votes.
Wow.
Yeah, very enjoyable game. Soon coming to VR platforms or having VR support added in just a few days. Very excited about that. Looking forward to playing that.
Gonna look amazing.
Yeah, and you you already need quite a machine to run it, but with VR, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
That game models the entire world. I mean, it's crazy how much content comes with it by default.
Yeah, and it's also crazy that there are no load times, except for when you load up the world, so to speak. But then you can fly endlessly. Pretty amazing,
Yeah.
the streaming technology they implemented. So let's see, the next category is Best Fighting Game, with Fight Crap nominated. They were very excited. They shared that on Twitter right away. Let's see if they mobilized enough people to get it voted as Best Fighting Game. Then we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Kirby Fighters 2, My Hero Wants Justice 2, and Under Night in Birth X Late CLR. Probably that's pronounced differently. What's your pick that would win this category?
Mine is Grand Blue Fantasy versus.
Not into fighting games, so I don't follow them. So
There weren't that many fighting games that came out this year, but yeah, I definitely liked Grand Blue.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I haven't done a Portuguese game. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I said let's see because we want to hear your opinion as well. You know, let's see.
Yeah.
No, actually,
Okay, let's see.
it was coincidence.
It's been a while since I played some fighting games, but I think maybe Kirby up just name recognition.
Yeah, actually, I haven't played any of those franchises at all before, except for Kirby, but not in a fighting game. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it is Grand Blue, as you said, Francesco.
Nice.
And here it is.
Pretty much the only AAA or something like that fighting game that came out, so I'm not surprised it won. But it deserved it. It's a really fun game.
Yeah, actually, we have an interesting diagram there. I don't really know what happened there, Google, but yeah, I guess some drafts got in there. I didn't change the spelling during the period of the voting, but yeah. But overall, it is Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Okay, and then
I understood it.
yeah. We just spoke about VR. There was a very important VR game this year. Let's take a look at that.
A catalyst of love, of everything received. A vessel leaves the shaded shore, holds unrequited love. Tremors rising in your eyes, define goodbye. Of everything we've made, kept in one night's glow, a story gone untold. You match the sky, it's always held us both.
I don't know them, but so I don't know what to comment on them. But
Okay.
thank you for letting us use your song.
Yep. And a small recommendation there. There's also the After Hours of Half-Life Alyx. It is not a documentary in a video form, but it's like a virtual book that Jeff Keighley provided, and that's very interesting. It's like an interactive book. So yeah, take a look at that. And we also have one final nominee for the Game of the Year. Let's see that. And that's the one that we might get blocked on because we don't have the music rights.
Oh boy.
What are you doing, kiddo? You really gonna go through with this?
I'm gonna find. And I'm gonna kill every last one of them.
Hold on, be still. Every now and then, love bleeds truth in.
Please stop. No!
We were right here, born together at last. And when I dream you, you're close to me still. I'm still waiting. The words never look back. They don't mean much when I'm here for you now.
Yeah, dear Secret Machines band, hopefully you're fine with us using your track here. I just thought it would be a good fit for the scenes of The Last of Us Part 2. And we're off to two last categories. Finally, the best game of the year, or the game of the year, and the most anticipated game of the year, or of the future. And the nominees for most anticipated game are Bayonetta 3, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, or whatever it will be called, Halo Infinite, and Resident Evil Village. Is the most anticipated game for you guys under that 5 games, or do you have anything else that you're looking forward to the most
No,
for
I
next
think
year?
my top two right now are the new God of War and the new Halo, so they're both on there. Bayonetta, let's hope they actually show something. I'm waiting for quite a lot of time. So I'm more inclined
That
to
one, I'm sorry.
No, what?
The Starflight is, I can't remember the name of it. The game, the space game that's supposed to be coming out that was announced a couple years ago by Bethesda, I think it is.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean, but I can remember the actual name. Wait. Oh, okay, Starfield. Yeah.
Starfield. That one and probably Halo Infinite are my two personal ones.
God of War.
That was short. Yeah, is God of War the game you're looking forward to most, or is it the game you think won that category?
Right now, yeah, God of War is who I thought are the game I think is going to win. As for most anticipated, I'm kind of blanking out. I have like so many things in my head, kind of blanking out. So, but God of War is definitely one of them.
Well, let's see if it is God of War. Yeah, and it is the yet to be titled God of War sequel that sometimes is called God of War Ragnarok. Still have to play the first game actually, but heard many great things about it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I think I'm in the minority here. I like God of War, but I didn't like it when they went to third person.
You mean the new style of gameplay, right? Because
Right. I liked the more isometric view of the older games for that style of gameplay.
Or the fixed cameras like in Resident Evil,
Right.
kind of.
yeah, I'm actually a really great fan of action hack and slash kind of games. So I also prefer the older style, but I think this new one was also done pretty great. So I don't mind the change personally. But I can see why you would prefer the old one because I also like it a lot.
All right, and then we have one last category left, Game of the Year. You already know the nominees if you watch closely. So, what's your pick?
Yeah, I think The Last of Us 2 is gonna win this personally.
I do too. I don't agree with it, but I don't agree with that being the pick, but I think it will win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be The Last of Us going to be the winner.
And you said you don't agree with it. What would be your pick? What is your Game of the Year?
Personally, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I don't see the list. So.
Okay. Personally, I thought Ghost of Tsushima, but yeah, I think it's going to be The Last of Us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ghost of Tsushima is personally my favorite.
Yeah, my favorite.
But I don't think it'll win. Sorry.
Yeah, my favorite is not on the list, sadly. Yakuza Like a Dragon. But yeah, maybe with the next game. They should be announcing that pretty soon, I think. At least for Japan, and then a year later we get it. Okay, let's see who is a best game of the year. Yeah, as predicted, The Last of Us Part 2 by Naughty Dog and Sony.
Not surprised. A really huge game, so it makes sense that would actually win the Game of the Year.
And it's also the most anticipated game of 2018 that you voted. The most anticipated game of 2019 was Cyberpunk, so it was down to those two games actually.
Pretty much, yeah. I think those two are. I mean, if we already counted the PC version of Cyberpunk again, because the consoles did not turn out that great yet, but those two are definitely, in my opinion, the best games that actually released this year. Even for the one I personally liked most is also Ghost of Tsushima or Doom Eternal. Those two that I actually played. I mean, I think that quality-wise, those two. With those two, I mean, Last of Us and Cyberpunk are actually the most huge game that released this year.
Yeah, the biggest blockbusters of this year, definitely.
Exactly, yeah, the biggest blockbuster. I couldn't come up with the term. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty close between those two. But I quite enjoyed Half-Life Alyx as well, which you could also say it's a blockbuster. Of course,
Yeah.
there was a limited player base with VR. Let's hope for another Half-Life game in a more traditional sense.
Yeah, I think what hurt Half-Life Alyx was basically most of us don't even have VR, so we can really appreciate it. Because again, I also know it's a great game, but not having a VR headset, it's hard for me to actually judge it on its performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you think Valve will go back to traditional 2D or 2D monitor games, or will it stay with Half-Life in VR completely?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how much VR gets developed in the future. I think the Valve will try to constantly set up new standards in the market, even if it will take them a lot of time, as it was with Half-Life Alyx. They may continue with the VR route. They may go back to their, I don't know how to say it, like first-person shooter standards. I don't know.
I think as long as Valve is pushing Steam hardware of their own, they're going to push VR more. If they weren't making VR units, then I don't think they'd be pushing it as much.
That's also an interesting viewpoint. Yeah, Valve has one of the best VR headsets in the market, which also plays Half-Life Alyx amazingly well, from what I heard. So it makes sense, yeah, that they try to push for that.
Well, there have been many iterations for a new Half-Life game, as you can find out in the thing I referenced, the interactive art book. But I think we will see another Half-Life traditional game, because it's also called Half-Life Alyx, so there will be maybe a Half-Life 3 in some shape or form.
Eventually.
Maybe within VR support, but that would be a huge undertaking probably to have both in one game.
Probably, yeah.
But with the success of the Oculus Quest 2, I can see, Valve staying at VR, as you said. So yeah, that's actually it. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was only saying we shall see if that actually happens. Sorry.
Okay, that's actually it for all the categories. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, despite the technical hiccups and the lengthy show. Yeah, thank you for joining, Mo, C, and Francesco.
Of course.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, very thank you. Thanks a lot for showing my game. Thanks for having me as well. And
yeah,
hope you all had fun.
Looking forward to playing somewhere in the south pretty soon. Maybe we can show a new gameplay off pretty soon, or play it ourselves. Some build that we can show off to our audience. We'll see. Okay, yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, and have a great 2021. Be safe, and see ya.
Bye.